Alright, BDBSSB here. I'm going to do some animation stuff today. Basically animated map objects. To give an idea, I think I'll do two videos. I'll do one on how to add parts to the map itself, and then I'll actually show how you can do it with a placeable. So I had an individual on my Discord that was asking. I've helped in the past, and it took me a little bit to remember the little secrets, I guess. I don't know if secrets, but just a little tricks to do it. So basically he passed along this link to me. I'll try to put it in the description. There's some metal gates and fences prefab right on modhub, so that's a simple item we can just kind of to play with. You know, you basically just download it. There is a couple of issues with it, and I'll show you what happens if you don't fix it. And I'll show you how to fix it. Not a big deal. So I'm basically just going to go to my downloads, maybe. There we are. So here's the metal prefab. So I'm just going to put it right in. I've just got a test. I'm just going to use the Westbridge Hills off of Giants modhub as well. So I'm just going to pull these files right into the map folder itself. And it's important too that you have some of the stuff pathed correctly, or you'll have some issues as well. So first off, what we'll do is we need to take this animated map objects right here, and we're going to Control X to cut it, Control Paste. I do have some description in here, but excuse me, sorry, allergies are killing me today. It's just basically making it so that Giants will accept it for a mod, so I wouldn't get too hung up on that. In fact, we'll just actually delete that anyway. And the sounds, what I would suggest is just grabbing the sounds folder as well, and we'll just put it up top here. You can, like I said, you can path it, but if you look at the animated map objects XML, it's going to look for the file in the actual sounds folder and then sliding gates. So if you had it inside the metal gates, you'd have to rename it, you know, prefab metal gates / sounds. Hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. So I actually could I'm going to rename this folder. I'm just going to call this prefab. That way I'm not having some goofy because it's going to take the textures from this folder. Once again, you could move all that around as well. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead. I have the map loaded up here. And I'm just going to throw it right here near the career start point. That way I'm not running all over the map trying to find it. So we'll just simply import i3D file. I'm going to go to, let's see, I have under minimum. Play, and I have it right here. That's a prefab. We're just going to import this entire file for now. So if I take this guy and we start grabbing the parts, I think all it wants the gates, because all the other stuff are just for visual purposes. So we're not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to delete. I'm going to grab these though. So we have a sliding gate, 5 meters. So I'm just going to hit Control B to interactive place this guy. So there's that gate. Here's going to be the 10. Control B. Throw him there. There's a 5. Swing right. Control B. Slide him there. There's the left. Control B. We'll throw him there. And here's another 10. Control B. Throw him there. So now basically all the gates are in place. As you can see, you have an index, you have an onCreate, and then you have the XML file name. So that's where this is important as well. If you want to put the XML somewhere else, not a big deal. You just have to remember your pathing goes off of your mod.descript file. So if you wanted that XML to be in your prefab folder, you would simply have to come into here and actually type prefab slash. Just want to give that a heads up. This is your index, so that comes off of, and here's one of the errors. We'll get into that. I'll show you what will happen. So there's the index name. So sliding gate 10 meter underscore 01. So that'd be sliding gate, what was it again? So sliding gate 10 meter 01. So sliding gate 10 meter 01. So that is basically saying look at the XML by this path here. Then it's saying look for that index. So we can actually come in here. I can hit Control D to duplicate this guy. Hit Control B to place it over here. And you can have more than one and still can share that same index. And I could be wrong. We'll double check that in a bit. But what it's doing is you have these gates other places on the map. It's still going to look at that same XML and still use the same index. Now if you want to do something different with it, you can. Now what I'm going to do is just to show you how you can add, I'm going to grab this barrier. It's from the BGA. I'm going to Control C. I come in metal gates, Control V, just to paste it in there. Now there's a couple of different things you got to look at. So basically this is just an empty transform that has the attributes in it, and then everything in below it is actually going to react. So what I want to do here is I'm going to show you how to add another object. Basically there's a couple of ways. You could simply duplicate this transform by hitting Control D, and you could call it barrier. Oops. Like so. You can take this guy, I'm going to cut it out, I'm going to paste it in, and then we want to keep the gate trigger, but we don't need this, we don't need that, don't need that. We're going to keep the sound node. We're going to move this up one, if I can get it to work. Move up. And we'll keep the sound link as well. So the gate trigger they have actually, and barrier, I want to put that at, okay, there's that 0, okay. Sound link node, barrier. So we'll hit Control B, we'll slip him over there. Like so. And yeah, all these other little things are kind of messing with this. Control B, we'll slide over there. Not confused. So this gate trigger, you can actually go to visibility and turn it on. It's not going to hurt. That way you can actually see it in Giant's editor. It's not going to show up. The only way it would show up in game is if you actually turned the non-rendering off, and it's going to make it white. So we can keep that visible. I don't know why that would cause an issue. They have them invisible for some reason. So basically that's just saying anywhere you walk in this trigger, it's going to give you the node to actually open or close that gate. So what we'll do is we need to look at some of these attributes to tell it what we want it to do. So if we go into that animated map objects, we're going to slide on down here. We're going to just copy this entire line. Control C, down a couple, paste it, and we're going to call this what was it on here? We'll just copy barrier, Control C, back to here, Control V, so we're just going to call it barrier 01. Now, we need to make the index we were talking about. So index, we're just going to, once again, I'm going to paste in what I put there, Control V, just going to be barrier 01. Back to if you wanted to make one from scratch and not duplicate, you could simply just come into the prefab to get an idea what things are. You can right click. My right click isn't working too good. Edit with Notepad, and this is going to tell you what those, so for example, get down here, see how there's an index on create XML file. So if you want to cheat, you just come in here, and if you actually hit Control F, go on create it's going to tell you what these strings are, and obviously it's an index, it's an onCreate, it's a XML file name. That's the actual names, and then these are the strings. So basically you would go, if we go create transform group, I was to cut that, put it in here, Control V, and just call it, you know, new Anna. And I would simply go, I want to add a script callback, because that's what it was called. The onCreate is a script callback, and I can actually copy that. So script callback is onCreate add. So then you have onCreate, and then it's actually called, the value is animatedObject onCreate. So we can copy that, paste it in, and the same thing, you have them here. You know, you could literally copy those as well. So I'm just kind of trying to show how you would add these in. So the next one is your index barrier 01. So you have index is a string. So you would come into here, you would go, I want to add a string, and it is an index, so I can copy that, paste it, add. So the index, for example, there's your index, and you call this, copy here, you could call this barrier 02, for example. And then you had one more, which is your XML file name. Excuse me. So that is a string. So we come over here, we hit a string, and you could just, like I said, you could just type in what that says. So XML file name, and make sure that your cap correct. Make sure that you have lowercase, uppercase. You would add that in. Oops, I'm in the wrong one, sorry. String XML file name add. So yeah, I messed up and did it wrong. And you can actually copy that line if you wanted as well. Come in here and paste it. So that's how you would actually add a new one from scratch. But if they give you the attributes and everything, just duplicate it, then you don't have to redo everything. And if you mistype something, it's going to mess you up. So we'll delete that. I just wanted to show how to do that. Excuse me. So now we're gonna go through on how to basically set these nodes up in the actual XML file. So what we got to do is we're going to come on down here. We can get rid of that file for now. So we called it barrier 1. We fixed the index, and that's where we got. There's our index. Now we want to go part node. That's what we actually want to move. So if we come in here, we got to think about, okay, what do we want to move? So there's the entire barrier. We don't want to move everything, because if we move everything, then everything in that actual transform is going to move itself. So what we want to do is come down here to barrier bar. So what we want to move is like so. Just want it to go up and down. So Control Z. So what we have is we got to look at the nodes. So starting from here, you got 0, 1, 1, 0. So you're going to want to grab, for example, Control C. Well, it's already set, so I don't have to add those bars in. So you want 1, 0, and this goes back. Remember in FS19 when you're doing fabric script, you had to remember how to do those nodes. Like I said, it goes from where your actual attributes start, your onCreate start. So like I said, 0, 1, and it's 1, 0. Just remember the 0 starts under that. So we have that set up. So let's go back in here and see what else it's looking for. We got to set up our keyframes, what to do. We'll get into that. Excuse me. So we have trigger node. We have to go back here and look to see what our trigger was now. So the trigger stayed, so it's at 0. Said we come right down 0, so we don't have to mess with the trigger node. But we do have a sound link node, and it is 5, and I'm pretty sure that's changed because I deleted a bunch of things. So once again, we can go ahead and minimize it so it's not confused. So we have 0, 1, 2 is our sound node. So we would come in here and simply back that out, hit 2. So our animated map objects XML is done to this point. I guess, sorry, I gotta fix this part here. You can change your duration. I'm gonna make this like 1 to make that thing raise a little faster, so it's a little doesn't take 3 seconds, or I'm not sure what that default is. But we have to look at what we want to do. At 0, we got to tell it where we want it to be. So at 0, this barrier bar, because remember we need to look at that node 1 0. So that barrier bar is at 0 0 0. Okay, so like it says, rotation 0 0 0. Now if we want to take this guy and move it this way 90 degrees, you can see it is on the Z axis. So delete that back. So if we simply come in here, we go X, Y, we want Y to be 0, and we want Z to be 90. So if we simply save that, now we should be set. Now we can get into changing these text. I'll get into that on the next video where I actually show how to do it on a placeable, but it would be the same idea of how it would work in this file as well. You have to do some mod description stuff. You would basically, instead of being open gate and close gate, you would call it something else and then rename it in your mod for descriptions. So we'll go ahead and we save that. We're good there. We'll close out. I'm going to need it. I shouldn't have closed it, I guess. We'll go ahead and save this map, but actually I think we're done messing around in there because all the issues, well, sorry, thinking out loud, I'll have to leave this open so we can go back and reference some things for the XML to fix them. Alright, so let's make sure I have my folder correct. Minimum test, that is correct. Well, we'll leave that up because I'm a grub there. Sorry. Tell I'm not doing videos very often because I'm bouncing around like crazy and not making much sense, rambling on. So we'll open the game up. Hopefully it opens up decent this morning because I had some updates yesterday. Turn the monitor capture off so it's not cranking my video card. Alright. So we're going to career. We'll just start a new save game. Start from scratch. Westbridge Hills. Continue. And start. So now it should spawn us right to where everything's at. We don't have to run around the map, try to find it. Hit OK. Okay, so as you can see, everything shows up. And we walk up to it. We got to have our help menu up so we can actually see. As you can see, well, it shows my mouse control, but if I do something with my actual controller, you'll see it'll say actually open gate. So as you can see, we walk up to it, hit the button, we can open and close gate. That's just one of them. And I said I know there's going to be some errors on one of these, so we'll see which ones that's working. Yeah, so that one there is the one with the issue, and I'll show you how to fix it. So if we run over here, this one should be working fine. There you go. So we just basically added that new object in. So we'll jump out here and I'll show you how to fix it quick. So let's see, jump to my monitor, close the game. So if we go back in fact, if we go to log, it'll tell you if I hit Control F, error. As you can see, we have some issues here. It's saying sliding gate, or it's saying error, index sliding gate 5m_1 not found in object or animated object XML. And it's also saying error, failed to find child 5 from node swing gate 5 right, only 3 childs given. So it's telling us what we need to know. If I come into the animated objects without even really following the log that we talked about it before, you can see how something's different. See how animated object, sliding gate 10.1 says index. Okay, we have a save ID there. That's kind of odd. Why is that one different, right? Index, and so on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply copy that index and I'm going to get rid of this save ID. Alright. Something else it said, go back the log, is it's saying error failed to find child 5 from node swing-gate 5M right. So we're going to look at swing-gate 5M right. Swing-gate. So swing-gate 5M right. So let's look at our actual nodes here. I could open it in the map, but rather than mess around with the map, because it's huge and bogging my computer down, I'm just going to open up the file we actually imported in. Because in theory, the nodes are still going to work the same way, as long as you didn't move anything. That's just the key thing to remember if you didn't move anything. So metal gates. So we're looking for the swing gate 5M right. So swing gate 5M right. So there's our 0. Or I'm sorry, our starting point. So let's see if we can. Let me scroll. That is going to let me scroll down because the file is not big enough. Just trying to find a way to cheat so we can get this all on the screen. Let's go this way. Alright, so we have swing gate 5M right. Now don't get caught up in the index, because remember, here's your index, but I mean, you can look to make sure, okay, yes, this is the correct one, I guess. So what we're going to look at, we'll just check them all just to make sure, you know, things are correct. So we have our part node, which is the part that's going to move is the 1, 0, 0. So we got 0, 1, 0, 0. Once again, this makes it difficult when I'm trying to fit things on the monitor. So obviously that is the right part that you won't move, because that's just moving. It's not moving any external parts on that fence. It's just moving the fence itself. So we're good there. And it told us, once again, if we go back, index 5 not found. So it's saying, hey, how come you're looking for 5? So that's fine. Trigger node was 0, and those are usually pretty much the first, pretty consistent in this this file, is that is your trigger. So now we're looking, and then something else you can do is if you're having troubles finding it, just type in node like so, and then it'll actually tell you, hey, here's your next node. So, and I'm actually looking under the wrong one. We want to go under 5. So find next. So our trigger was good, we decided. Go to the next node, trigger node, or part node, trigger node. Hit next again. Okay, so it says sound, link node 5. Well, if we go back in, you go 0, 1, 2. Well, we've only got 0, 1, 2. We don't have 5. So somebody, when they did this file, was just copying things and forgot to relink this. So if you look at it, you got 0, 1, 2. So that means that is actually 2. And you know, you could cheat on this. You could actually export. If you're having troubles naming these, you can export it out and basically, you know, okay, copy from there. But you got to basically just learn how to reference here. And like I said, if you look at that, is 002, and if you come into here, you have 0. So if you remember 002, then you have 0021, for example, 002, so you have 100. So you can do it that way. You could literally sit here and copy that way if you wanted. But sound link node, same thing. Oops. We remember 002 is the standard, so we could simply just copy that too if you wanted. But just remember 0. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, 0, 1, 2. So we just need the 2 in there instead of the 5. That's why it's giving us the error that there's only 3 childs. So if we save that now, go back to our log, and I hit error. I think that's all we had. It could not find that index because it was calling it save ID, and it's saying we couldn't find child 5 because there's only 3 childs given. And once again, it's just saying error index not found 5. So I'm pretty sure we save that. If we get back out of here, close this so it's not bogging us out, we'll open the game up. Get rid of monitor capture so we're not killing ourselves here. Career. Just save the game, start from scratch. Continue, start. Oops. Lost my headphone there. Jump in. Okay, now we should be able to get all these guys to work. I think this is the one that wasn't working before. Oop, on the back side of that guy. Picking up the other trigger. It doesn't have a collision evidently. So, as you can see, everything is working now. So hopefully this was informative. I've had a couple of people ask me, and I started telling them how to do it with a placeable, which can be done. You could basically place these guys with a placeable file in your map, so they wouldn't physically be taking up space in your map, if that makes any sense. So the husbandries work that way. If we were to place a cow or a pig, or and I'll show that in the next video, they basically are using animated information right in the placeable file itself. So like I said, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, jump on my Discord, or jump on my website and go in there. We've been trying to use our forums a little bit more on the website. I'll try to post a link to the placeable gates here so you can play around with it, and it gives you a starting point with animated objects XML. We'll catch you guys later next time.